morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today we've got a couple of new EXs, we've got a new Ace Spec, we've got a lot of very exciting stuff to talk about. So let's start off with Galvantula EX. Of course, Stella Crown was officially revealed yesterday. We now know what the English set is. We knew Galvantula was coming anyway because of a booklet in an Asian territory product, but we got proper job confirmation yesterday with the official reveal of Stella Crown and, you know, the booster pack with Galvantula on. So now we can have a good old chat about it. Sounds like a plan? Excellent. Once again, I have done the translations here myself, and I'm delighted I can say that I can do that. But I have, of course, checked with a lovely Anton Boulet, who is still way, way better at this stuff than I am. So starting off with Galvantula then, 260 HP on a Stage 1 EX is not great. It's not terrible, it's not great. And we got two attacks. Lightning, colourless, 110. But against a Pokemon EX or Pokemon V, it does 110 more. That is to say 220 in total. And you know what? Yeah, mostly. You see, for a long time, 220 was, well, 220 still is the magic number for Pokemon V. But we've got Pokemon EXs like Iron Hand, and there's a few others, who are up at 230. 230 is now the magic number for basic Pokemon. And yeah, I know we can use Vitality Band to get us up from 220 to 230, but I don't want to use Vitality Band. I just want to be hitting 230 naturally. The good news is, in terms of energy, we're not worried. Obviously, it's a lightning Pokemon, so electric generator will work quite nicely. We've got that new tool coming in this set, which reduces the cost of a Terra Pokemon's attack by one of any energy. So that will turn this into a single energy attack. It's fine. I just don't think it's great. It's a Stage 1 that evolves from a weak basic, and it's fine. But I don't think it's terribly inspiring. We then have Grass, Lightning, Fighting, 180 damage. Discard all energy from this Pokemon. During your opponent's next turn, they can't play any item cards from their hand. This I like very much indeed. And it's a classic Pokemon thing of, we're going to give you item lock, but we're going to make you work for it. So it's just awkward in terms of energy acceleration. You've got to discard all energy, which means you can't, if it was just discard free, you could stash a whole bunch of energy and chain this attack, but you can't. You have to start fresh every time. So we've got the tool, and one of the cool things about using the Ace Spec tool here is that what your opponent would generally be trying to do is play Lost Vacuum to remove the tool to make it harder for you to chain this attack, but they can't do that because Lost Vacuum is an item card. And of course, this stops items, doesn't stop tools. Remember the rule change when we went to Scarlet and Violet. So here, you've got a few options. You can go ahead and do something like Electric Generator and hope to hit an energy off that in order to try and chain this. You can set up multiple Galvantula and start switching between them so that stuff like Electric Generator becomes a little bit easier. You can use things like Teal Mask, Ogerpon, and Energy Switch. Attach to Teal Mask, Ogerpon, and then essentially every one of your energy switch turns into just an extra energy, because you only need one more energy per turn. Your tool makes this a 2 energy attack. You can attach one from hand. You only need to accelerate 1 energy per turn to be able to chain this, and maybe with stuff like Electric Generator and Energy Switch alongside Teal Mask, Ogerpon, maybe you'll be able to pull this off. So if you can chain it, I love it. I think chaining it's going to be a little bit awkward, and they've done that obviously very deliberately. But obviously, remember, we've got Crispin now. That's the new supporter card that attaches. You get search for 2 different types of energy. One goes in your hand and one gets attached to a Pokemon. So that combined with a tool would work and would mean you wouldn't even need to draw into the energy because you would have it from the Crispin. There are ways to do this. I just don't think it's as reliable and easy as we would generally like. I'm still giving it between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. I like the first attack, but it does a little bit too much little damage for me to be all in on this. Although you do one hit KO a Lugia, and that makes me very, very happy. And the second attack does 180, which isn't enough to KO your Vs and EXs and all of that, but does stop item cards. But then the problem with that is that you need to chain it and it's awkward to chain. It's a card with a huge amount of potential. It just gets really awkward too quickly for my liking. But we do have another EX here. We got Daschbun EX with the ability Full Meal Time. 250 HP on a stage 1, 2 retreat. Don't love the stats. But the ability, once during your turn, when you play this card from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may heal all damage from each of your evolution Pokemon. If you do, discard all energy from each Pokemon healed in this way. Okay. And some of you are going to be thinking this looks very, very, very familiar. Because you know what? Well, it's kind of Blissey Prime, but annoyingly, Blissey is all Pokemon. This is only evolution Pokemon. If you want an actual recent comp here, it's Cheryl. Like, it's literally Cheryl. Heal all damage from each of your evolution Pokemon, discard all energy from all Pokemon that were revealed in this way. It's literally a Pokemon version of Cheryl. And remember, Cheryl was in battle style, so that has since rotated out. So it's not like we got a choice between the supporter or the Pokemon here, because we don't have the supporter anymore. And I'm not sure how much I love this. I love the amount of healing you can do with it, but we're still in a format where one-hit KOs absolutely do happen. You've got to hit this at the right time. You've got to lose all of your energy. And then it's a one-shot deal. So, as much as I kind of like this, and I do kind of like this, I do feel like it's an ability that's got to be used at the perfect time. It's too often that you're going to find it not being quite good enough, not doing enough, and it's just going to be too awkward. It's one of these that seems really good on paper, but I do worry it is going to end up just being too awkward in the long run. As for the attack, we've got 2 energy, 130 damage, plus confusion. And I don't hate this. Like, whack a double turbo on there and fine, it only does 110, but it's a single energy attack, single energy attachment, and you're doing 110 plus confusion. I still don't think it's stunning, but if you're doing energy acceleration with any type of energy, if you're playing double turbo, this is a useful attack. I don't think you'd play it for the attack. I think you'd play it for the ability, and then the attack would be a handy little bonus. But I do get the feeling that this is just a little bit like, sorry. I'm again giving this between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. I don't think this is a bad card, although I do like it less than Galvantula, even though I've given them the same score. I just think the ability is I need it to be exactly this turn and exactly this thing, and it's not quite good enough, ladies and gentlemen. I think this was better when it was a supporter, and even as a supporter, it was an occasional use in specific decks. As a stage 1-2 prize Pokemon, I'm not a gigantic fan. But I do love the Ace Spec. Shrouded Fable's Ace Specs, I'm sorry, they're massively disappointing. Shrouded Fable, I am not a big fan of the Ace Specs. We do have the Neutral Center Ace Spec, the stadium that stops you being damaged by EXs and Vs. And I will say there is a little bit of potential in that one. I'm seeing it pop up in deck lists. But as a trio, the Ace Specs were kind of rubbish. I don't think that about Stella Crown. I've already told you about the first Ace Spec that reduces the attack cost of Terra Pokemon by 1. I think that's a really good Ace Spec. Now we've got this one as well, and I think this is a very good Ace Spec. I know not everyone is going to agree with me here, and I don't care. I think this is a very good Ace Spec. It is a stadium card after Neutral Center, the second one that we've had. And what it allows you to do is search your deck for a stage 1 that evolves from one of your Pokemon and evolve it up. If you do, you can then search for a stage 2 Pokemon that evolves from that stage 1 you just grabbed and evolved it up. You cannot use this on your first turn of the game, and you cannot use this on a basic Pokemon that was played this turn. I've seen people likening this to Forest of Giant Plants, and I'm wondering if that's just because there's a tree on there. Because this is not Forest of Giant Plants. This is a very different beast entirely. Forest of Giant Plants lets you just evolve up straight away. You need to draw into the Pokemon, and it only works for grass Pokemon, and then you can evolve immediately, and you can do it on the turn you play. This doesn't let you cheat evolution earlier. It just lets you guarantee the stage 2. If you've had a basic down for a turn, this will let you go and get the stage 1, and it will let you go and get the stage 2. And we've seen a million stage 2 decks over the years where the only real downside has been you can't get the stage 2 out. And once you get the stage 2 out, your deck becomes a bazillion times better. You've just got to actually muck around getting the stage 2 out. Well, now you don't need to do that anymore. And I've seen people suggesting that, well, you know what? It's just really guaranteeing the rare candy. It's not that good. And I think that's missing the point. Because let's take Baxcalibur decks. That's the stage 2 deck, right? One that you need to get the stage 2. And if you don't get the stage 2, your deck doesn't work and you lose. We all know you can go and use Irida to go and get rare candy Baxcalibur. We know that's a thing. But if you use a stadium to evolve your Frigibax into a Baxcalibur, then you can use your Irida for something else. You can, in a different deck, play Professor's Research, draw into the stadium, and then that one stadium will go and guarantee your stage 2, rather than having to draw into the rare candy in the stage 2. And I'm sorry, but if you've not drawn into the rare candy one turn, then the stage 2 the next turn, then the rare candy the next turn, but never the two of them in the same turn for 4 turns in a row, and then you lost the game, you've not played enough Pokemon. We see this all the time. Yes, I know that it's a stadium, right? And that means that your opponent is almost certainly going to replace it after one use. Your opponent is going to use Lost Vacuum or going to play their own stadium. It is going to be rare that your opponent is going to let you have multiple uses of this stadium. But if you've gone and got your first Baxcalibur up and you're rolling in the game, you don't care. Or that new Dusknoir, which incidentally is confirmed legit. Well, Dusknoir lets you drop 13 damage counters onto one Pokemon at the risk of KOing it, but as we've talked about, KOing it doesn't really matter because there's all kinds of advantages now to going down on prizes. And so, turn 2, you guarantee Dusknoir, drop your 13 damage counters, activate something like Counter Catcher while you're at it, and you're just rolling. I adore this stadium. I think this stadium is phenomenal. And I'm not seeing everyone out there saying it's phenomenal. I'm seeing some negativity towards this, and I don't get it. If I'm playing a stage 2 deck, I want this stadium, and I want it bad. This is now my new favourite card because it guarantees my stage 2. It is a stadium card that I can use in addition to my supporter card that will guarantee my stage 2. Yeah, mate. That sounds absolutely fine by me. Now, one issue, of course, we need to address here. How do we actually get it? How do we find the stadium? And the answer is our stadium draw options are not great. Obviously, we've still got Forest Seal Stone, which will search for any card. So you use that to search for, and I like using Forest Seal Stone to search for the big tree. That makes me happy. And then you go and get your stage 2 guaranteed. That'll work. But there's a really fun interaction which could come around here because of the new Chorus. You see, the new Chorus lets you search for a stadium and an energy. And yes, it is any energy. It will include special, but it could be basic. So you go and search for any energy and a stadium. And then you've got your energy of choice plus this stadium. You go and get your stage 2. Jobs are good 'un. But of course, if everybody starts using stadium to search this out, then the new Kyurem that for a single energy does 110 to 3 of your opponent's Pokemon, but only if your opponent's got a Chorus card in the discard, otherwise it's 5 energy. Well, if everyone's using Chorus, this becomes a lot better. But my point about this card is very simple. If you're playing a stage 2 deck, this is phenomenal. Venerable Tree is brilliant. Antoine is the one that came out with Venerable. It literally means very great. Very great big tree, I think is a literal translation. And I think very great big tree, Venerable Tree, yeah, that'll work very nicely. I'm giving this 5 war season, you can't stop me. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this. I know not everyone is as high on this Ace Spec as I am. But I've played enough Stage 2 decks over the years when I lost through not getting a Stage 2, that the idea that I can play a Stadium and guarantee my Stage 2, Yeah, that appeals massively. And as for skipping rare candy, there's little things like TM Devolution doesn't worry you anymore, because your opponent plays Devolution, or uses the attack on Devolution, they put the stage 2 back into your hand and you just re-evolve it. And you don't care. There are so many advantages to this. I absolutely love it. This is a great Ace Spec. But I've told you what you need to know, and now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about the new Ace Spec and both the new EXs. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely AB3, who's been a supporter of ours for a long time now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross and you've been watching PTCG Radio.